Today on Italia Amplified, we are escaping the smog and the busy life of Milan to head up north to the mountains for a much-needed breath of fresh air to meet a musical unicorn. That's right, our next guest is one of a kind. With his wolf haircut, elegant vintage shirt buttoned up, he is the physical embodiment of the 70s British rock era. But don't be misled by his retro appearance and influences. This artist has experimented and crafted a sound that is much his. His name is David Paysden. Half British, half Italian, his heart is in two places, but today it is in his studio in Bergamo that we meet for a coffee and a chat. David co-founded the alternative pop band Vanarin, whose latest album Hazy Days was named by the magazine Rocket as one of the best Italian albums of 2025. In 2024, David released his first solo album, 3D Coffee, which he has kept very low-key, until now. 3D Coffee is his interpretation of the over-consumerism culture, an ode to an imaginary beverage sold as the ultimate solution to enhance all aspects of your life. It was for the first time last December that he brought his personal project on stage while opening for his friends, the band Martini Police. This is episode 8 of Italia Amplified. Andiamo. You comfortable?
Very. You can bring this even a bit closer like that.
Hi David, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm super glad you invited me today in your studio. Thank you very much for this 8th episode of Italia Amplified. So can you introduce yourself and your music?
Okay, yeah. So my name's David, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm half English, half Italian. I was born in England, but then I came to Italy when I was 10 years old, and I've been living here ever since. I'm now 29, so it's been 19 years here in Bergamo, in the beautiful city of Bergamo. Mm-hmm. And I've played in various projects, and I have various projects. I have a band called Vanarin, which we've been playing for like 7 to 8 years together now. And I've been making music also for myself, of my own solo project for at least 15 years, on and off. And only now am I actually starting to take it a little bit more seriously and releasing a little bit like newer stuff and et cetera, and doing these kinds of things.
What makes you and your music quite special is double identity for your cultural heritage, because it gives you a perspective from two musically rich countries. It fuels innovation through hybrid aesthetics. Does that seem right to you?
I mean, it does sound right. Then, to be perfectly honest, I think I've like struggled so much with the double identity thing. Like, I think it created like some real crises for me, like both so in a social context and in an artistic context, because you don't belong to anything. So you don't really have a home. It's a really weird thing. Like, it's one point where you're like, maybe you've got, double heritage, but you grew up most of your life in one place. But I arrived in Italy when I was 10. So it's kind of like a lot of my, the initial growing up I did in England. So I had a lot of English references, and I come to Italy and all of a sudden I don't have those references that a lot of other kids at my age had, because I didn't watch the same things. I didn't see the same things, and I didn't do the same things. And then you grow up through the teenage years in Italy, but you don't have any of the teenage cultural influences of England. I don't really feel like that. I personally, I'm going to be 30 next year. So, and I don't think in these 30 years of existence on this planet, I don't think I've ever met anybody that felt like, oh yeah, we're on the same wavelength, like both creatively and like style wise and like dressing similar and stuff. And I don't know, sometimes I wonder if that also reflects in the music as well, that people don't quite get where you're coming from.
Yes and no. I think the main advantage that you may have over some Italian artists, all very talented, no doubt, is perhaps that your music is more fluid internationally. So it could reach a more international audience.
Yeah, I suppose. But then that's also, I feel that's like at the same time, that's a very commercial like concept, right?
Not necessarily.
No? I mean, if you think about it, yeah, your music might reach a wider audience, but if you're not living outside, you're not going to you're not in the midst of what's happening, If I was living in London, probably it would be different, for example, but I don't live there. I live in Italy. So it's like...
But your music stands out in Italy.
I don't know.
You could say it this
I'm not
way.
very good at judging, I think the only way you can really judge whether your art is having an effect on people is if it's a bit of a shallow, hollow thing to say, but I guess the only way you really have any measure is if people are listening to what you're doing, if people are engaging.
So you mentioned it also before, you're part of the band, you're one of the founders of the band Vanarin.
Yeah. I'm like the main, I mean, there used to be more people writing, but now I'm the sole writer of the band. And I'm the front man, so I play the synths a bit, I dance around a bit and try to have fun.
You played at the Miami Festival.
Yeah.
Not Miami, Miami, which is the most important independent music festival in Italy.
Yeah.
In terms of bands that were playing with you, Il Mago del Gelato, Marco Castello, Joan Cielle.
Yeah, no, it was good. I enjoyed it. I mean, we've played. We've been very lucky because it wasn't the first time we played at Miami in 2018 as well, and we played also the Mimanki, which was like the small Miami they did after COVID as well. Mm-hmm. So this was like the third time we played, or the second time officially, I guess. And it's it's always great. I mean, they're really well organized, and I think having done it this time at the Scalo with it was really cool concept as well, the change as well from the Magnolia, just right next to the Magnolia, but it's completely different vibe.
Just to set the vibe for people who don't know Milan, Scalo is an artificial lake in Milan.
Yeah.
And there is a beautiful park around, and Miami Festival is set there. And is a very cool atmosphere. And that's the difference. We're talking earlier on. We're talking about the difference between UK and Italian festival. From my perspective, from my experience, I much prefer the Italian festivals where people are a bit more chilled. I think more in tune with the music, less booze involved.
Milan's going through a very interesting kind of very open period musically speaking, which is really strange because then it's also like the center of like a lot of the mainstream music that's happening, a lot of the big corporations. So it's kind of there's this weird divide,
Once you scratch the surface a bit, there's loads of independent emerging bands and artists like yourself.
Yeah.
And we'll go back to them again afterwards, Martini Police.
Yeah.
Who you collaborated with, Mille Punti, who I interviewed before, and also friends of Martini Police. And then in the electro underground as well, loads of things happening that are very accessible as well.
Yeah.
This year, some of the best concerts I've been to were all free.
Oh, cool.
That's not great for the artist. It's great for us.
Oh, it's been a big year for electronic music. I mean,
huge.
I think one of the biggest artists at the moment is Fred Again. And he's like, that's going like... The interesting thing about Fred Again is that like everybody listens to him. Like everybody I know listens to him, whether they're vintage aficionados, musicians, or whether they're just, somebody who has nothing to do with music. Even people that just listen to music kind of as like a thing that they don't really care about, in that way. They listen to Fred Again, I was thinking also of like, what's the name? French project, right? I think they're French.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, what's the name? I can't remember the...
Doveliana.
Yeah, Doveliana.
Doveliana. I saw them playing at the Miami Festival as well this year. And I was convinced they were from Sicily for some obscure reason.
Oh, right.
No, the pure French.
Pure French.
Pure French. Vanarin is your first band.
Yeah.
Huge band.
Huge.
It's so huge.
Band.
How did you never heard
the
of
best
Vanarin?
Band, the hugest
band.
No, it's my first band. I mean the first one that I put together. After I played with my I played, for various years with my brother, and then we kind of, like the Gallagher brothers, we separated because we couldn't deal with working together. It's changed now, though. I mean, it's much better now. But when we were younger, we were a bit more stubborn. He wanted to go in one direction, I wanted to go into another. So.
Sure.
And Vanarin started off like that. I wanted to write. I wanted to do my music. I had a whole bunch of songs I'd been writing for a while, and one thing just led to the other. And
working in symbiosis with 3 other band members to going solo, what was that like?
I mean, I think it wasn't weird because I've always done stuff on my own, And I'll kind of just what's the word? I'll kind of move back a second to when we were talking about the cultural heritage thing, just to make a point that I think the fact of just not fitting in has also made me an incredibly like, I love being alone. Like, I love being on my own. Like, it's something that I think I've just done it for so many years that it just feels so natural and so kind of nice for me. I spend hours in my studio just on my own. I love making music on my own. Like, I enjoy making it with other people, but it's like on your own, there's kind of like the feeling of just relax. You know, you do whatever you want to do. You feel any way you want to feel. I mean, I love just doing things on my own in general. Like, I think there's just a pleasure in just being able to do whatever I want, not having to compromise.
So a few weeks ago, alongside the band Martini Police, you showcased for the first time your project 3D Coffee.
Yeah.
How was your first live solo?
Well, it was really cool. Like, it was something special. Like going solo and doing that show was, I think it's something I needed to do for a long time. I've been needing to do something like that for a long time. And it was special. I mean, I wanted to, when they asked me to open up, I knew I wanted to do something which was very me, which was also different from everything else that's kind of like, that would also be expected from me. Because you would expect, you know, usually when you're asked to open up for people, either you go like on your own and you play like, I don't know, the acoustic guitar or the piano and you sing your songs and people listen, they go, oh, that's nice. And then that's the end of that. I love the idea of creating an experience. So that's what for me, the live show had to be. And in fact, I mean, you saw the show, but since most people listening haven't, it's kind of the idea of the show was that I brought this, I had like a Tascam Porta Studio on stage, and it's a cassette recorder, but it's like a professional cassette recorder for people. It was made they started making them in like I think the late 70s or maybe into the 80s. One of the most famous artists who used one of the early ones was Bruce Springsteen. And you can see it now in the movie that's come out recently that he's got like about Nebraska. He uses a Tascam, so it's like it's a cassette recorder, professional cassette recorder. And I recorded all these songs that I had, all these different songs. Some of them which came out on the EP which I released, and some which are completely new. Which I don't even know if I'm going to release those, but I just did them anyway because I needed to have the set. And I prepared them all, did like a medley of my EP, and I recorded it all onto cassette. So I had like 3 channels which had different instruments and different things, kind of like a little bit like the concept of a DJ set. But it's all analog because it's all on cassette. So you have no click tracks, there is no like synchronization of the tempo. It's like, that is what you've got to do, and you just got to learn. You're listening to the cassette, you just vibe with the cassette and you bring in things, take things out. In fact, during the live show, there were a few like DJ set moments where I had like some loops or some stuff going, and I take the drums out, put them in, bring the guitars in, do that kind of stuff. But then I wanted to add also the live element to it. So I had a microphone, I sang there's lots of parts which are sung, and I did all of that live.
And there's also the visual.
Yeah.
The visuals do yourself and projected behind you. It's full immersion.
It's like it means a show, you know, as much as a show can be a show with no budget, but it's a show. Like a thing which I really like the idea of doing. Then I know for some people it's incredibly cheesy, and for others it might have been very fun. But I did like an outfit change as well. So I had this.
Yes.
I had this divider on stage to my right, and during the very tail end of the final song in the cassette, I let the cassette go on its own, and I just, you know, nonchalantly go back and I just take off this outfit, which was all part of the concept of the first EP, which was the first 15 minutes of the show. And I'd come out with a completely different outfit on. And that would be the second half of the show. So it's kind of like different thing, different vibe, and the visuals followed. The whole first 50 minutes was all the visuals I'd done throughout the couple of years in which I released 3D Coffee. So all the music videos I'd done mixed with other stuff that I created on purpose. I learned to use Touch Designer, which is I'd never used before. It's like a software for visuals and stuff where you can really do anything. Like, it's a really nerdy program, but it's really cool. And I spent like 3 days just trying to learn to use it. And I created, because I needed to make the visuals auto-reactive, which means that because I couldn't put them to click. Because some people, when it's digital music, right, it's always the same. So if it's at the same tempo, a lot of people just create like a really long track, which is the entire concert, and you have like a, you know, in your earbuds, only you can hear them, but you have like a click, click, 1, 2, 3, 4, which gives you the rhythm. And then you can just play the visuals once and they will just follow the whole show because it's like every time it's the same thing. But with the cassette, you can't do that because the speed is always a little bit different. So you'll always end up with the visuals slightly off tempo if you just had a fixed visual that would go on its own. Plus, I also thought it was more fun to be able to switch them during the show. But everything's audio reactive, so through this program, all the visuals would move to tempo with the beats of the music coming from the cassette. And then with like a little MIDI control, I could switch out the visuals according to the moment of the live show. And that was fun.
So now let's talk about 3D Coffee, which is your album that you released actually last year.
Yeah.
So we're actually not promoting the release of your new album. It's like we're talking about last year.
We're talking about old
which
stuff,
is really good. So the EP, it's got 4 songs and 4 interludes. Do you mind if we go through them together? Not the entirety, but...
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
So the first song is called Work, 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 not Rihanna related. Mm-hmm. And it goes like this.
Get up, go, go, step outside, away, you know you burn inside. Go up, go, go, step outside, away, you know you stand in line. That's your line.
So work, work, work. Okay, for me, if 2025 had a song, it would be that one. This is how 2025 feels to me, a slow burnout.
Of just, Well, I think the song, but I think the whole EP kind of, I wanted to use this thing of looping. In fact, the EP is very repetitive, like purposely, and short as well, because I didn't want the songs to be too long. But work is kind of exactly what the title implies. It's about just the mundane kind of routine of everyday life and just how superficial it becomes and how boring it is and how they're just draining us of everything we have, of all of our life essence, until you don't feel like doing anything anymore except that. Like, either you succumb to the fact that work becomes your life, and so I am Mr. X person who does this thing, and that is and then you care only about your work. Otherwise, if you care about anything else, they make it very difficult for you to do anything else unless you kind of find a way of breaking away from the trap. And so that was the main idea is that, in fact, the music video, I did a music video for Work, 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 which I'm very proud of. I think it's one of the best ones we did, and it's one of the longest ones to do, but we did this whole video, which is all filmed as if when you're always looking far away from the character, you're never close to the actor. It's kind of almost like a 2D perspective. It's almost like a Super Mario perspective, right? And it's got this guy who goes through this very mundane life, and he keeps repeating the same actions, but it takes you through a story, and all the scenes are the same location wise, but slowly there's a development, and then this 3D coffee drink, which is why the EP is called 3D Coffee, because it's about this drink that is supposedly claims to solve any issues or any problems, and even surreal things like it can fix your marriage, or it can make you less depressed. There's kinds of stupid, really false marketing claims, when in reality it's just a caffeinated beverage and that's it. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what it's all about. That's kind of the whole point of the EP, was just to kind of criticize the insane amount of false marketing and just constant bombarding of buying this and buying that, and this will solve your problems, and this will solve your problems, and this idea that you have problems, because it's almost as if somebody else keeps telling you you've got problems. Sometimes I wonder, do we really have all these problems, or are we fed to believe we've got all these problems, all these things we need to fix, all these things we need to be better at,
And that's why you've got the interludes that sneak in between your each song, which are false commercials.
Yeah, exactly.
And I put in the comments, I'm like, I'm so confused. Song 2 is New Sensations. For me, it's like Easy Rider. You could almost hear the roaring sound of the Harley Davidsons.
Yeah.
And
really? So it's kind of like that's cool.
Yeah.
I never, to be honest, I never thought of that, but that's cool.
Yeah. So
I like
New Sensations, is that what 2026 is about?
I think I get the feeling, because the idea is that the idea of the kind of feeling alive, feeling energetic. Kind of, I was imagining when I was writing it, when I was coming up a bit with like the visual aspect, I was kind of imagining some of the marketing that's used like for Nike or for the kind of the sports marketing a bit, the kind of the idea or the fitness kind of thing as well. In fact, we made a video for New Sensations as well, which is all about this guy who's running constantly to kind of better himself. And I was originally going to do this thing, and in fact I'd come up with the whole graphic part of it, but I didn't. But the idea was that 3D coffee is like the bland, kind of regular version of the beverage, and New Sensations was like the sports energy version of the beverage, and that's why it's called New Sensations. And he talks about, and it's meant to sound like a kind of a commercial for that drink kind of thing. So, yeah, the idea was that you could fix all your bodily. I think it also touches a bit on like the whole thing of body dysmorphia as well, kind of feeling like, oh, you've got to look this certain way, and this drink will help you get it. This drink will help you achieve it.
Next song is 3D Coffee. It's exactly what it says on the tin. It's caffeine in song form. It's electric, it's loaded. I could taste the vintage varnish of the notes.
I like that, the vintage varnish.
Vintage varnish.
I like that a lot.
And then the last one is called I'm Fine.
Yeah.
And my question to you is, are you?
I think so far I've kind of answered that question for you.
Every day they ask me, every day they ask, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Every day they ask me, every day they ask, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. It's strange, just like...
I mean, do you need me to tell you? I don't know. Is anybody fine? Is anybody good? I mean, that was the point, kind of the point of the song. Like we, it's one of the most classic things to say. Kind of like in Italy where you say like tutto bene, bene, tu bene. It's like, you know, the idea of just saying, how are you? Good, thanks, good. Like it's one of the weirdest things like in society for me, because it's like, I understand why we do it, because it's just a way to interact. It's just a way to kind of be like polite in society. But most of the times people don't really answer like, honestly, when we say like, yeah, we're good.
It's an automatism, yeah. So what's next for David Paysden then?
I'm going to work on a EP, and I would like to kind of, I've been trying some new things. I've been trying to use some different colors, and I've been trying to get into something a little bit different. I'm planning on working on like an EP, which will touch on some of the similar subjects. I kind of want to talk about the escapism aspect of life, like as a train running you over and kind of taking you away to this place where you get to feel a certain way. And you get to, you know, it's going to be very dancey. It's going to be very, very, very there's going to be a lot of elements of drum and bass. So it's going to be very, very. Oh yeah,
different.
It's going to be really different. I'm going to be probably putting in some elements of like, I've been listening to a lot of like, what's it called? 2-step garage and UK garage and a bit of jungle. And I've been listening to some drum and bass and I think those, and the thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to bring that though into Italy, because I may be talking like out of ignorance here, but I feel that there isn't like a huge scene, like a huge current scene or mainstream scene, or in any case accessible scene of
for
like
dubstep?
Not dubstep, yeah. Dubstep I've heard way more, but like the UK garage drum and bass thing, it's very UK. Like, I haven't heard very many like Italian versions of that.
To finish, is the question that his pop quiz I ask to all the guests is if you could name 3 Italian artists that should be known outside of Italy, who do you recommend?
That should be known outside of Italy?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have to shout out obviously my favorite like Italian band. I have to say like Verdena. they've been around for a long time, so they're not like, are we talking about like new artists, or
no,
can I mention even older
want.
artists?
Whoever you want.
Okay, so like Verdena, in my opinion, are one of those bands that like they really were but they were especially in the golden era. So like Wow and maybe Encadence, Requiem, Wow, they were amazing. I mean, I don't think like a drummer like the drummer from Verdena, I've never like, he's the kind of guy, like their band, if they had been in like American, they would be one of the big bands. They would have been like really successful, in my opinion. They had they released the music in Italy, and they did it in Italy, and so they reached obviously a lot of Italian, a big, they were very, very famous. But obviously, if they'd been outside of Italy, they would have been huge, in my opinion. And if they'd like done music in English and been out, they would have been really big. So to anybody who doesn't listen or doesn't know Verdena, if you like rock, if you like alternative rock, if you like a bit of that kind of slightly Nirvana, but also kind of Beatlesque and a bit Beach Boysy, but very kind of a bit darker, a bit grungier, they're amazing. Especially Wow. Wow is such a good album. It's got so many really interesting influences, and the drumming is incredible. And another band which I think is really good, like I have to shout out, which is in the same label as my band, Vanarin, is Postnebbia. They're really good. They're really good.
I know them.
I mean, I really liked in particular the Canale Paesaggi album, which is the second album, if I'm not mistaken, they released. I really liked that one, and I enjoyed the last couple, but I think that Canale Paesaggi really had something like really special, both the songwriting and the production, and if that had been in English, I would have thought he would have had like a pretty big, like it would have made quite a good. I can't think of the right word. Like it would have made a lot of noise, But they get. I mean, I know that they get. I mean, because they've got a bit of a community in France. I think they played quite a few gigs. I think in France at one point. I don't know. I think so. And the third project, who I'm thinking. I mean, a project which is really cool, but I mean, he already is kind of out of Italy, so I don't know if it really makes sense for me to mention him, because
that's all right.
I mean, I think OK Giorgio's a really good, good. He's from Bergamo. He does a very cool electronic music. Yeah. He's very much in the vein of like Fred again and that kind of vibe.
Yes, he was also in Miami this year.
He was the final act in Miami.
It was the final act, and it was fire.
Yeah, it was amazing. Fire. Yeah, just. Really, really cool.
I think it's the first time I actually seen a mosh pit electro gig.
Yeah, my electronic. But that I think that's happening more and more now as well. That people are kind of moshing, and it's like it's a weird mix.
You're at the gig with Martini Police where you opened. There was a mosh pit. Martini Police is not a grunge band. Yeah, it is not a rock band. It is not hardcore. It's
funk, yeah.
It's like funk. And you had all those guys going it was the most gentle mosh pit. It was a very gentle mosh pit, and it was just lots of guys who were getting all the stress out from the week, but they were just having such a good time.
Yeah, but that's like, I think that's a really modern thing now. People just mosh kind of like at any type of music. I think it's just if they enjoy themselves, it's like a natural reaction to mosh now. I know it's more so than I guess before, which was maybe more of a genre thing, I guess. Now instead it's like, it could be Taylor Swift probably has mosh pits now,
Oh, God.
But it's, but like, OK Giorgio, I mean, besides being, a very good artist, he's a really nice guy. Like, really nice guy. Really nice guy.
So this is the end of our chat. It's been an absolute pleasure, David.
It was lovely.
We'll see you again soon, hopefully on stage.
Absolutely.
With your new music in Milan and beyond.
Absolutely.
Or Bergamo and beyond.
Bergamo and beyond, Who knows? Hopefully we'll have another interview soon about some other thing, some other update, something fun.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
This was an episode of Italia Amplified. Thank you for listening. Thank you again, David Paysden, for opening the doors of his studio and for sharing his story. If you like this episode, you can check out our previous chats with renowned and emergent Italian artists. From Italisco to hip-hop freestyle, there might be something in store for you. You can follow us on Instagram at Italia_Amplified. And if you're an Italian artist wanting to showcase your talent to an international audience, drop us a DM. We would love to hear from you. Ciao, ciao.